wondering whether or not, frankly, they can believe the government on these numbers. In terms of the policies to further restrict the movement of people, we're seeing that on the ground here in the capital. We went outside of the city. There are roadblocks in place now preventing people who are not residents of villages or townships from entering those places, roads that are sealed off. So clearly, officials here in the capital and on the outskirts are concerned that this virus could spread here. And in Wuhan and Hubei specifically, of course, we've seen more draconian measures put in place by officials there who have told families that they are not allowed to leave their homes unless it's an emergency, and that private cars are banned from the entire province, a population of 60 million people. And most businesses there as well are to remain closed. You talked about the PBOC, the MLF operations. Of course, the central bank has been keen to ensure there is enough liquidity in the system to ensure there aren't financial shocks, particularly to the market. And what we heard from the finance minister over the weekend was that he wants to see additional cuts to taxes and fees. But really, that raises the question of how much firepower China really has in terms of fiscal stimulus, given that we know that provinces, in terms of their revenue streams, are already constrained. And so that raises another question. Will China have to raise its deficit ratio as well? Something we'll be looking ahead to.
Yeah, with the business and factory shutdowns, just no tax revenue coming in at the moment, right? Yvonne, let me get to you. It's not just China talking about these fiscal planning measures or fiscal expansion measures. We're also hearing similar sentiment from Hong Kong and Singapore looking to open up those coffers.
Yeah, even before this outbreak, we were expecting at least bold measures from Hong Kong, some sizable budgets from Singapore, due to the threat of the trade war, of course, with Hong Kong, months of political protests. But this virus now only adds to the urgency for more fiscal spending. And in Hong Kong's case, they are now proposing at least $3.2 billion in fresh funding for the fiscal year. This is after we learned from the financial secretary, Paul Chan, warning of these tsunami-like shock to the economy. And this virus could have a bigger effect that goes far beyond the likes of F&B, retail, and the tourism-related industries. The budget coffers, as you mentioned, a lot of questions whether there is the room for that. The shortfall, according to Paul Chan, will likely continue for some time. And on Tuesday, the Singaporean government likely to deliver a strong budget. Analysts are predicting that the budget deficit could be the widest we've seen, or the biggest we've seen in almost 2 decades. That fiscal gap could widen to 1.5% of GDP. And the likes of Citigroup predicting that this economic package could be more than $500 million, which is 3 times more than what the Singaporean government spent back in 2003, the SARS epidemic.